Well, hi there, I'm Pam Carr from Caraway Crochet, and my new video tutorial that I'm just going to start today is going to be for the Colour Block Cardigan. I took a vote and that was what came up on top, so I wanted to share the colors that I'm going to be using. They're not going to be the same colors that I made the original one in. I thought I'll change it up a bit, so I've got this kind of beautiful sagey green, a pale yellow, a pink, and then this really nice kind of lavender color here. So I think they'll go really nice together because the two sides are different colors, and then they sort of alternate with the sleeves. So if it's got pink on one side at the front, then the sleeve on the opposite side is going to be pink, and the same goes for the other side. I'm going to swap it, and then the back, it's a totally different color, and then the trim all around the edge and the bottom is all in a different contrasting color. So if you want to make a color block cardigan, stick around. Here are the instructions and this easy to follow along tutorial. So besides those colors of yarn, the 4 colors that I've selected, you are going to need 2 hooks. You're going to need a J hook, which is a 5.75 millimeter, a J hook. And also you're going to need a K hook, which is a 6.5 millimeter. So that's the 2 hooks that I used. And also you're going to need a yarn needle, and you're going to need a pair of scissors. So that's it. That's all you're going to need to make yourself a color block cropped cardie. So once you've got your 4 colors of yarn, you need to make a decision before you start what is going to be what, okay? So I'm going to have the pink and the purple as my 2 fronts. This is if you're making it with alternating colors in the front and a different color on the back, which I'm going to make in the green, and then I'm going to keep the yellow for my ribbing around the bottom and the trim around around the edges of the sweater and for the cuffs of the sleeves as well. So that's my choice. You have to kind of decide, okay, which is going to be your color for either side. The other thing you can do is if you're scrap busting, you know, if you're stash busting, you can just choose to have 4 colors in each of your sides. You don't have to make it exactly the color combo I'm doing. You might not have enough to do a whole sleeve in one color, so you can break it up. It's a color block cardigan, so you can make it color blocked however you want it to be. So just take that and do with it as you will. Because my trim is going to be yellow, I'm going to be starting out with this yellow and chaining to get started with the trim, or the ribbing around the bottom of one of my fronts. Also, before I start, I want to just mention that this pattern is written in an extra small, and then a small medium, and then a large extra large is one sizing, a 2X 3X is another sizing, and the 4X 5X is the final sizing. So you can decide which one you want to do. I'm going to be demonstrating the extra large, the large extra large here today. But if you want all the how many chains you have to make, how long you need to make it, and all of that, there is a free pattern on my blog, and I will be linking it below. Okay, so just so you know that you can make all the other sizes. I'm going to make it along with the pattern, and the pattern actually says that we're going to start with the back panel, not with the front panel. So what we need for this cardigan is we need 1 back panel, and we need 2 front panels and 2 sleeves, and then we sew it all together. Okay, so this is starting with the back panel, and I'm going to be starting with a J hook, and then I'm going to be chaining 13. So I'm starting with the back panel, and I'm going to be with the yellow because that's what my ribbing is going to be made out of. I'm going to be using my J hook, which is this one. These are very similar in color, so it's easy to get them mixed up. This is a 5.75 millimeter. I think some J hooks might come in a different sizing, but this is the one I have. And all of the different sizes have the same amount of stitches that you need for your ribbing, okay? So it's always going to be 13 to start with chaining, okay? So I'm going to make a slip knot. So I make a slip knot, and then I'm going to chain 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And now I'm going to half double crochet into the second chain from the hook. So you look at your chain there, you don't count what's on your hook, that's not counted, and then you count the first one and the second one, and to make a half double crochet you're going to wrap your yarn over the hook, put it into the second chain, put the yarn over and pull it through, and then the yarn over and pull it through all three, and we're going to go all the way down our chain with half double crochets into each of these chains, okay? And we'll end up with 12 half double crochets. So I'm just going to let you go and make these half double crochets into every chain all the way down, okay? So here we are, and we have done 12 half double crochets into the chain, okay? So now we're going to chain one and turn, chain one and turn, and now we're going to do half double crochets again, but we're doing them into the back loop only, okay, because that's going to make the rib look, okay? So we put our yarn over the hook because that's how we start our half double crochet. And then what you're going to be doing is you're going to be looking, and you're going to see that there's the front that's closest to you, there's two little legs there like a V, and then there's the one that's the furthest away from you, and you're going to go into the one that's the furthest away from you, okay? So you go into that, sorry about getting off the camera, into that back one, yarn over, pull it through, and then you've got 3 loops, yarn over and pull it through the 3. So let's put our yarn over, ready to do another half double crochet. We're going to look very closely and see that V, and we're going to go into the leg of the V that's the furthest away from you. Yarn over and pull it through, and that's going to be 2. And we're going to go all the way around down there doing 12 half double crochets into the back loop only, okay? I do have a video about back loop only too, but I think this is good. Okay, so go all the way down. When you get to the end, this is a part that can be tricky. You have to go into that last little back loop there. Okay, I always count because it's so easy to get mixed up when you're doing this. So chain 1, turn, and we can count. We can say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so we're chaining 1, we've turned our work, we're putting the yarn over the hook ready for another half double crochet, and then when you're starting you go right into that first one. I hope this is close enough that you can see. Right into that first one there. The back loop only into 1, not through 2, okay? And we're going to go all the way down doing that back loop only and counting to make sure that you've got 12. We've done 3, okay, down until you've done 12. And now you can see what it's looking like. This is starting to get that ribbed look to it, right? So that's what you have to do. And because I am making the, actually, it's extra small, small, medium, large on its own, extra large on its own, 2X, 3X is one size, and 4X, 5X is one size. So I'm going to go and make the extra large, okay? So the extra large on the pattern is orange. So I need to do 46 rows of this ribbing stitch, okay? I need to turn, chain 1, turn the work, do another row, and I need to make 46 rows, okay, for my extra large, okay? So that's what I'm doing to show you as a demo. I'm making an extra large. Okay, so I'm going to leave you to make as many rows as you need. You can refer to the pattern that's free on my blog. It's got all the sizing on there for you. And yeah, we're going to end up with our ribbing for the back. It's going to be quite long, 46 rows. And then we're going to stop making the ribbing, and we're going to get on to the body of the back. So here I am coming up to the last back loop, only half double crochet of the ribbing, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 stitches, just as there should be. Now, if you don't know how to count these, I've left a bit of a loop there so it doesn't come off. How you count your rows is you look and you see how there's an up and a downhill there. Okay, that's 2. 4, up and down, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 2, 4, 6, 8, 30, 2, 4, 6, 8, 40, 2, 4, 6. So if you're going for an even number, you should be finishing on the downhill, up and down, okay? So that's the ribbing, all done. So now we're going to change to a K hook, which is the bigger hook. And we're going to get what we're going to make the back with, and I'm going to be making the back with this green, okay? I'm using my pink and my purple for my sides. So I'm going to add in, here I have this yellow here. I'm just going to pull through the green, and I'm actually going to cut off the yellow so that we don't have that hanging around anymore. Cut the yellow, get rid of the yellow. And remember, I'm doing an extra large size, okay? So I've got my green on here. I'm going to pull the yellow tight at the back. And I need to change. I'm going to be picking up 66, sorry. I'm reading my instructions here. 66 stitches over the top of the half double crochet rows. So each of these is a half double crochet. Okay, there's 2 there. There's 2 there. So I'm going to chain 1, okay? And then I'm going to single crochet and pick up the stitches over the top of the half double crochet row. And it works out to be around approximately 3 single crochets into each of the 2 doubles, okay? So we're going to go, we've got 2 here, up and down. That's 2 doubles. So we need to be picking up 3 there. So that's 1. I'm just going into the top here. 2, into the middle. That's into where it looks like it's ribbed. And that's 3. Okay. Now we've got 2 more here. We're going to go 1 on one side, 1 in that middle part, and 1 on the part going down. Now this is approximate because each size is different, so you have to be counting as you go. I'm going for 66, and as you near the end, if you haven't got enough rows to fit in the extra that you're going to need for the 66, you have to make the correction. This is the part that you have to take responsibility for. Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3 in there. Okay, now we're going to do 4, and then I'm going to go into the top, 5, and then in the down one, 6, and now we're going up another hill, so that's 7, 8, 9. Okay, you can see how I'm fitting them in to the top of the yellow there. Okay, so 10, 11, it's really random where you go, 12, let's get some more yarn. Now we're going up the hill, 13 in the middle, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Just going right into the top of this. It's really random. I'm going to go into this one, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Now we need 66, and it's looking like we're not quite halfway across, so it's looking like we're doing pretty good. So I think I said 30, right? So 31, 32, 33. Now, let's see if we're halfway across. Oh, look at that. It's pretty much halfway across. So if we keep going 3 into each 2 rows, we should have 66 because we've got 33. So we're going back up towards this little ridge part. So we're going to do one up and then one in the middle where the ridge is. It's 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. Now I want you to be sure that you know what I'm talking about. So each of these, where there's a ribbing and you see this line down the middle, there's the up, there's the middle, and there's a down. So I'm doing one, picking up one stitch there, one in the middle, and one on the row going down. And for me, it looks like it's going to work out pretty much close to 66 when I get to the end. And hopefully it will be that for the other sizes. When you, if you're getting to the end and you need to have extra stitches, you just put 2 or 4 going in that section. You have to adjust it as you're going across, okay? So I'm going to carry on going 3 in each of these doubles, 2 rows together. I'm going to, for every 2 rows, I'm going to make 3 stitches, okay? And I'll meet you at the end. So for me to get 66, I had to just make less stitches in the last few rows so that it came out to 66, okay? You can as well, if you want to, if you have too many, you can actually double crochet 2 together like that at the end of the row and just create that 1 stitch that way, because this is the ribbing and the sweater is gathered on the top. You've got extra stitches in there. So you should count across your single crochets all the way across and have the number that it says you need for your pattern. I need 66 for the medium, it's or the large, it's 62. For the medium, it's 56. It's all different, and the free pattern is on my blog to tell you all the other sizing. I'm making an extra large, okay? So now I've got that row done. I'm now going to be going on to the double crochet rows, because that's what the rest of the sweater back is going to be made out of. So we're going to chain 2 and turn it. And now we're going to double crochet into every stitch across, and then we're going to turn our work and we're going to repeat row 2 all the way around. We're going to chain 2 and then double crochet. So I'm double crocheting into each of these single crochets across here. So that's 1, yarn over, into the next single crochet, pull it through, yarn over, pull it through 2, yarn over, pull it through 2. Yarn over into the next single crochet and double crochet all the way across. And if you don't know the double crochet stitch, I do have a video tutorial on how to make the double crochet. So we're going to double crochet all the way across here, and I'll meet you at the end. So here I am at the end of my first double crochet row, and it's all done into the last single crochet there. Now I'm going to turn the work and I'm going to chain 2. And remember, you're working with your K hook here. You're working with a larger hook. And now we're going to repeat this row 2. We're going to double crochet into the first stitch and into every stitch across. So there's your first stitch right there. Double crochet into there and double crochet into each stitch across, and you're going to end up with 66. Always remember, you can count every row. You just count your stitches. Like, let's count the first row. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 2, 4, 6, 8, 30, 2, 4, 6, 8, 40, 2, 4, 6, 8, 50, 2, 4, 6, 8, 60, 2, 4, 6. Okay, so that's all you have to do is count your stitches, and we're going to carry on making our cardigan. And we have to make mine for the extra large 19 inches long, including the ribbing. So I'm going to start measuring from here up to the top, and it needs to be 19 inches. Now that's for a cropped cardigan. If you want a longer cardigan, then you just keep going longer. Okay, but make sure that you count the number of rows that you do so that you can do exactly the same amount for the sides, because you don't want the sides to be a different length to the back. Okay, but I'm going to be working right now, because I'm following the pattern, up to 19 inches. Then I'm going to hold it up to me and see how it looks, because you can always adapt your cardigan's length, making fewer rows if you want it shorter, or more rows if you want it longer. We can customize it, right? So I like these colors. They look pretty nice together. I hope you're happy with your colors. And if you have any questions about the ribbing and joining on with the different color to start the body, just put them in the comments and I'll get back to you. Okay, so I'm going to go on now doing a double crochet in every stitch across each row up until I have 19 inches, including my ribbing. Well, hi there, I'm back. I've finished the back panel. And what I want to do is show you, I've measured it from the top of where I finished with my double crocheting with the K hook down to the end of my ribbing, and it's 19 inches. This is for the size that I'm making. Okay, so all of the sizes are in the free pattern on my blog if you want to be making a small or the different sizes, but for the size I'm making, we need the 19 inches. So now I have to fasten off here. And I'm leaving a long tail because the shoulders are going to be sewn, so I can just leave this long tail to use for sewing the shoulders. So I've fastened it off, and I'm just going to pull this right through, pull that tight, and that is the back. This is the back of the cropped cardigan. I have done it to the pattern. If you want to make it longer, you add extra rows on there, but remember, however many extra rows you add, you need to do the same on the front. Okay, so I'm making it according to the crop pattern, and this is 19 inches for my size. Okay, so I'm going to put that one away, and now I'm going to start the front. Now the front, it's made just the same as the back for the beginning, for the ribbing. So we're going to use the yellow. I'm going to make all of my ribbing and all my edging is going to be yellow, but you can choose a different color. And I'm going to chain 13. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And I'm doing this with the J hook. We changed to the K after we finish the ribbing, and we want to change to the color for our front. So I'm going to, into the second chain from the hook, I'm going to do a half double crochet. And then all the way down, we're going into each chain, we're going to do a half double crochet. So into the chain, yarn over, pull it up, yarn over, pull it through the 3, all the way down, and we should end up with 12 half double crochets. So here we are at the last one. This is our 12th half double crochet. We're going to chain 1, turn it, and then like before, we're going to be working into the back loop only. That's not the front loop, the back loop. So I'm going to, I think I chained 1 to turn. So yarn over, and we're going to go into the back loop and do a half double crochet. This is what creates the ribbing, okay? Go right down to the end. Done 10, 11, and 12. Then we're going to chain 1 and turn and yarn over because we're half double crocheting, and we go right into the back loop of the first stitch. We're going to do 23 rows all together, okay? Now every time you do 2 rows, you get that hill, so that's 2. So as you're counting, that makes it easy for you to remember, okay? So we're going to do 23 rows of back loop only, half double crochet all the way across, okay? We should have 12 stitches in each of these little rows, okay? So make sure you count them. And I'll see you when you've done 23 or however many your pattern needs you to do, okay? I do hope you check out the free pattern on my blog because it does give all the different sizes all the way up to the 5X, okay? From extra small. So here we are. I had to do 23 rows. For my, get rid of this pink. I'm getting all ready for the next one. So each of these little ups and downs, that's 2 rows, right? So that's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, and then we've got the one that's starting to go uphill. That makes it 23. Okay, so that's my ribbing done. And I fastened it off, and now I'm going to be joining in my other color. And the color that I'm doing, this is for one side. I'm going to do one side purple and one sort of a lavender color, and one side in this nice soft pink. Okay, so I've got my pink here, and we're changing from the J hook over to the K hook, and we're going to have to start to pick up some single crochet stitches. Okay, so I have in the pattern, I'm supposed to be picking up 32 single crochet stitches. Now, the recommended thing to do is to do 3 single crochets into each pair. So we would do like 3 into there, 3 into there, 3 into there. But we only want 32, okay? So if we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 double rows, and we were going to do 3 into each of those, we would have 33, and we only want 32. And we have this extra one here. So we're going to be able to go 3 into each of these until we get near the end, and then just slow down around here, okay? So that's kind of my technique. It's 33. It's only going to give us 1 more, and then that extra space. So I'm maybe going to just do 2 into the first double one, okay? So we're going to put our hook in here and pick up the pink. Transitioning onto the body is always a bit tricky, okay? So we're not going to chain up at all. We've got 1 in there, and now we're going to make 2 in this next one. 1, 2 in there. So that's 3. Okay, now we're going to make 3 into each of these as we go along. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oops, sorry. 5. Oh, I've done 2 in there. So let's just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we definitely need to start making 3. 6, and then into the middle, 7, and then into this side, 8, and then we're going to make 3 into this next little hill, that valley, 9, 10, 11, and then we're going to pick up 3 in the next one, 12, 13, and I always go into the middle dip there, and then 14, and then 3 into this next couple of rows, 14, so this is 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So let me free up my yarn here. 21, 22, 23, 24. Oops, sorry, doesn't want to happen. 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and then 3 into this last 2 rows here, 30, 31, 32. So that worked out perfectly, just putting 2 into the top. Each one is different. That's why you have to kind of just check how many it says for row 1 when you're doing the single crochet pickup. Okay, so now we've got our 32 stitches for my size. I'm going to chain 2. Now remember, all the other sizes are on my blog free, and the link is in the description down below the video here. So row 2, we're going to chain 2, and we're going to double crochet into the first stitch and into each stitch across. So how many will we have? We'll have 32 for me. I don't know what your pattern is going to say. All the way across, 32. I'll see you at the end. So here we are with the first row of double crochet done. Remember, the chain 2 you do at the beginning doesn't count as a stitch when we're counting our stitches. So that's just an extra there. That's the turning chain. So we're going to count 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 2, 4, 6, 8, 30, 32. So we're going to chain 2, go up 2, turn our work and double crochet across, and we're going to keep going across these 32 stitches until I get up to 19 inches from the beginning, just like I did with my back. Remember, that came out to 19 inches. So we're going to just do this. We're going to make the front, and then when we finish this front, we have to make another front, and then we can get on with the sleeves. See you back at the end of 19 inches or however long you're making your cardigan, because this is where you get to decide. You can hold it up against yourself and adapt it and customize it to what you need. Okay? See you later. Right, so here we are. I've finished my 2 front panels here, and I finished my back panel here. And I'm making the extra large. I think it was extra large. Let me just check. I did check and then I've forgotten, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Yeah, I'm making the extra large, and I had to make them 19 inches long. Okay, so these are all 19 inches long, and I've laid them out. And what I also do, just to check, is I also count the rows. So I go to where I started when I picked up all with a single crochet, and then how many rows, and you can kind of line them up with these lines. You see that? It helps you to, because between each of these 2 lumps is 2 rows. Okay, so I'm going to now flip these ones over, because this one is right side up, and you can tell because this is on this side. So this is right side up. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to flip these sides over and join them, like lay them sideways so they match. So we've put the back panel with the right side facing up. We put the 2 front panels on top with the right side facing down. And now what we need to do is we need to start putting some little stitch markers in. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a different color. I've got some green here, so I'm going to tie these 2 together. I'm just going to pull it through so we get the top corners where the shoulder, this is the top of the sleeves really, and I'm going to just tie that together. That's my little fake stitch marker because I don't have any fancy stitch markers. Okay, and then I'm going to get another one, another piece of green, And I'm going to do the same on this side. I'm going to get the top stitch and join it to the top stitch there. I'm going to pull it through, and then I'm going to tie it off. So that's the top of the sleeve hole there. All right, so there we go. So we've got the tops of the sleeve holes marked. And then now what we have to do is we have to measure down, and for the extra large, it's 9.5 inches. Now all the different sizes are already on the pattern that's free on my blog. So I do have a link in the tutorial description below to the blog, the free blog, and that's got what to do for all the different sizes. I'm making an extra large, but there are patterns for extra small all the way up to extra large. I forget whether, let me see, I'll check. I've got so many different patterns. Yeah, all the way up to 5X. So we're good, all the way up to 5X, okay? So now what we're gonna do is I have to measure down 9.5 inches on this sleeve hole to make the sleeve hole, okay? So I've got my tape measure, and I'm gonna go to the top and measure down 9.5 inches, and that's actually here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to get another piece of yarn, and I'm going to put that in where the 9.5 inches are. Okay, so let's go down, double check. 9.5 inches here, just at the bottom of that row. So I'm going to put my hook through, pull my colored yarn through. I chose a contrasting color so it's easy to see. This nice grassy green. And there you go. And then on the other side, we have to do the same thing. Let me get my piece of yarn ready. Here we go, it's all ready. And we go down 9.5 inches on this side. And sure enough, there it is, right at where those rows end. So I stick it through, and I pull my piece of yarn through, and I tie it off in a knot so it doesn't get pull out. And then what that gives us is our side seam. We can also tie it at the bottom, put a stitch marker joining them together, or you can pin it together. You can do whatever you want to do, because these have to be sewn, the sides have to be sewn, whip stitched together, and we're going to match our rows. We don't want the rows to be out of sync, and then when we get down to the yellow, we want to have the yellow meeting up perfectly on either side as well. Okay, so that's the top opening of the sleeves. And now what we're going to do is we're going to mark where the shoulders are, okay? So when you do the shoulders, you want to really make sure that you do extra stitches, just like you do at the bottom of the sleeves. You want to do a few extra stitches to make sure that it's really tightly sewn and not going to come unraveled, okay? So you can see where the shoulders go, so I don't really need to measure the shoulders because they're going to go right to where they join in the middle here. So you can make a decision what color you want to sew the front to the back with. You could use the purple on this side and the pink on this side. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use the green that I made the back with so that it's kind of uniform. And I'm going to start at this side and start join in my yarn. Oh, I've got some left. I did leave long tails because I thought I might be using those to sew up, but I'm not. I'm going to, oh, actually, yeah, well, that's okay. I'll just cut that off. It was the right green, but I've already got the new green, so there we go. So I'm going to take it and I'm going to lower my camera down so that I can show you how I'm whip stitching the tops. And then you're going to use exactly the same whip stitch to do from here down to here for the side seams, and from here down to here. And always, you can even see how the rows bump out, which is kind of convenient, so you can see how they match up. But we'll start with the shoulder seams and then do the side seams. I'm going to lower my camera. So I've threaded my yarn needle with my green, and I'm going into this corner space where my green, grassy green marker is, and I'm going to be able to pull that out. Now, take that out, and I'm going to be able to sew right across here. And I'm going to show you how I do my whip stitch in this section, okay? There we go. Get that out of there. I always tie really good knots. Okay, so here we go. I can weave in the ends later. I'm going to do 3 stitches right in the corner just to make sure that it's not going to come undone. We are going to join our sleeves into this corner, but there you go. That's 3. Now you can see when you hold the front and the back together, we've got these beautiful V's all the way along. Where each stitch is, there's a V. And so what I like to do is go through, you can go through 2. Let's go through 2 just to make sure that it's not going to come undone on your shoulder. You could go through to the inside ones to make less of an obvious seam. But we'll go through 2. We don't want them pulling apart because it's quite a heavy sweater. So here we go, we've done those 2, so now we're going to match up this one with this one. It's quite easy to match them up, okay? As long as we do that, we'll get to the middle in a good way. Okay, I'll show you one more, how they've gone through both, and I'm going to meet you when I get to the middle, okay? So here I am in the middle, and I've just done 2 or 3 stitches into where it joins. At the top, this will be the neck part. Pull it tight. And then I'm going to sort of just skip across here because we're going to be picking up those stitches when we do our trim, right? So I'm going to feed it across to the top of the pink side. Just loosely thread it across there so I don't have to create another end to weave in. And we've got two full stitches there that are not stitched into. Now I'm going to go 3 times into where the pink starts to secure it. And then when we look at the nice little V's, we've got the pink V's from the front and the green V's from the back, and we just go into the 2 there and into the 2 there, pull it through. This is a whip stitch. Back to the front, go through to the back, pull it up, in through the front, in through the back, pull it up, and you see those stitches are just whipping around there. So I'm going to go all the way to the other side, and then that will be the shoulder side. So here I am at the other side, at the end here. So I'm just going to go into that final stitch and go in there 3 times. 2, 3. You can do it even more if you want. I'm going to fasten that off. I'm just going to weave it in here. Back through these before I fasten it off. And then I'm going to actually take the pink that's left here and just weave that back in over there too. So rather than just cut it off, I'm just going to weave it in just to make sure it doesn't come undone on us. Right on that, keeping it in the pink section so it doesn't get all mixed up with the green at the back. And one more in there. Okay, so that's my pink. So now we're ready to go on to the sides. And of course on this I'm going to use the green just the same as I did before. But what we're going to do for the sides is we're going to join it in under the arm, or you can start here if you want to. You might want to start down here because that way you could go into each of the stitches that we see when we hold the corners up there and sew the pink of the yellow, sorry. So we'll get our yellow yarn and sew up to that point where we've picked up our colors, and then I'm going to get the green and I'm going to sew up each side. Okay, I'll just go and get the yellow and show you how to do so again, we've got the right sides facing, and you can see on this ribbing we've got one row there, and on this ribbing we've got one row here. So what's really great is when we join them together, we'll have that little valley just like we've had in all of our other ribbing. You see it goes down and up, down and up. So when we've done this, I'm just pulling my yarn through. I'm going to leave a little bit of a bit there, and I'm going to put the needle through the 2 bottom stitches. One more time. And we'll fasten in those ends later. And then we go up and we pinch it between your fingers and match up the stitches. Okay, so I'm going to go through those 2. This time we're just going through 1 strand of yarn, okay? Because remember it was back loop only, so we're just going to go through 1 strand of yarn as we go up and join them. And we're using that whip stitch again. We're going in from the front and out of the back, and then back into the front, out of the back. Oops, got caught on the cardboard here. And you can always jiffle them around. If you started on the 2nd stitch, you can make a correction. And the goal is that we come up to the top, going through the furthest away stitch at the front, you know, this one. When we look at these 2, there are 2 stitches there. We're just going to go in the first one at the front, and then we're going to go into the back one at the back, right? And that creates our rib. I'll show you when we get to the end. There we go. Front one, and then into the back one. Nearly there. And here we are at the last one. And what you can choose to do here is you can just tie a knot where the 2 sides meet and leaves enough of a piece of yarn that you can weave them both in going down there. But I'm going to open it up so you can see what it looks like. Put my needle to one side, open it up, and you can see how you really can't see the difference between the rib. Now down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, and down, up. So this is where the seam is, and you can't even tell because of the way we've joined it. Okay, now we have to go back to our green, and we're going to be going up this section here from the top of the ribbing up to the bottom of the armhole. Okay, so I did have some green. I don't know where I threw it. I unthreaded my yarn. Okay, I'm going to get it from over here. Here it is. Okay, so now we're going to reattach our green. I always fold it over. Some people complain about threading needles, but if you pinch it like that, so you've got that little bit, and just pop it through like that, there's no problem. Okay, so now we're going to hold these 2. We're going to pinch them together, and always we can see this has a bumpy piece here, and there's a bumpy piece on the other side because this is the right side and this is the right side, okay? So you can also see that the rows do have a little bump to each row, and you can see the little valley in the middle of that row. So there's a couple of different ways you can do that, okay? So now we're going to go up, and we're just going to whip stitch. I like to leave a loose strand that I weave in. I don't do a knot. I leave a loose strand that I can weave in, and then I go in about 2 or 3 times at the very beginning of where we're starting to sew the sides together from the bottom. You can start at the top if you want to, right? And now we're pinching it, and we're just going to go through the stitches and make sure we're matching up the front and the back rows. So that was there was just a single row to start with, and now in between each of these little bumps there's 2 rows. 2, 2, 2. So this is where the 2 rows are. You can see the little dip, and there's another row start. So if you hold that, you just go up and you stitch these together. I like to go in maybe 2 in like that until I get to the top of that row, and just pull it. You can pull them through together. That's the loose piece. We don't need that. Now we've got where the 2 are joining, where that's that little bump, and then we hold our yarn, we look at the rows, we line them up. There's the bump, there's the bump. So we hold them. You see how this one you need to sort of accommodate the pink, because when you're using different types of yarn, they don't all work up the same. And you can always open it to look. So here, let's go check it out and see how it's looking. See, we've got the bump going across there and the bump going across there. So you're going to work all the way up to the armhole. Because it's a crop sweater, we haven't got many rows to go. We've only got 2, 4, 6 rows to go, and then we're as far as we need to go. So I'll go and do that and join you when here we are at the top. I've just whip stitched all the way up to where the stitch marker was. You can see we've got the hole now for the armhole, and I'm just going to open it up and check that we've matched our seams. This was pretty tricky. I had to do it 2 or 3 times to get it right. So there you see we've got those rows joining where the bumps are. Okay, so that's how we try to make it look as matched as we can. Now I've gone over to the other side and I've done exactly the same thing. I've just stitched up, whip stitched up with the yellow on the ribbing, and then all the way up to the stitch marker at this point on the other side of the cardigan, and turn it over, and see our rows are all lined up. So now we're ready to get started on the sleeves, okay? So now to do the sleeves, we're going to turn it right side out. So we've got the right sides out. And you can see our beautiful whip stitch seam and all the different stitches along there. And for the sleeve, we're going to start like we did with the single crochet, picking up the stitches. So this is the pink front, so I'm going to use the purple lilac color, lavender, for this sleeve. We have to find the bottom of the sleeve because we start out at the bottom, and we're going to be picking up the stitches. So I'm going to join in. I'm just going to put my needle in here, and you can, let's do a slip knot here, and then put that in there and pull your slip knot tight. All right, and then you can pull that through there. And now we're going to single crochet up, and we're going to do 2 single crochet in each of the rows. Okay, so this first row we're going to go in, I can go in that one, and then in that one, 2. And then when we're on our next double crochet row, you see it there? So I'm going to go in the big hole, and I'm going to go in that little one. You can do it however you like. And we're into each of these rows that we see going along the back there, we are going to pick up 2 single crochets all the way up to the top of the shoulder seam. Now we are using the same K hook we worked with before. So here's the last row here. And now we're going to go down the pink. Okay. For each of these rows, double crochet rows, we are going to put 2 single crochets, pick up 2 single crochets. This means we don't have to sew the sleeve on afterwards. Plus you can try it on and see if it's long enough when you get to the end. Okay, I'll meet you down when I get to the armhole, the bottom where the side seam. And here we are at the last one. So we're going to do a single crochet in there, and then what we're going to do is we are just going to do a slip stitch into the very first one that we did. Okay, now we're going to chain 2. Now this chain 2 doesn't count as a stitch, so if you're wanting to count your stitches on each row, you're welcome to not count that one. Okay, so we've got all of our stitches on for our row, so now we're going to double crochet into every single crochet stitch that we've made. So we can start going into that first one. Yarn over into the single crochet and double crochet into each stitch around. Okay, so we'll meet you back when we get to this chain 2, because of course we're going to slip stitch into the top of that when we finish. Okay, so I'll see you at the end. Okay, so here I am at the end. This is my last double crochet into the last single crochet of the previous round, and then I'm going to slip stitch into the top of that chain 2 that we started with, and we're going to chain 2, and we're going to start to go around. So you can see that the seam for the sleeve that's at the bottom is going to be, the sleeve is going to be running underneath your arm, okay, from underneath your arm where your armpit is all the way down. So this is going to be the size of our sleeve. So we're going to chain 2 like I've done, and then double crochet all the way around and slip stitch into the top of that chain 2, chain 2, and keep going like this, repeating this second round until your sleeve, if you're doing an extra large, is 16 inches long at least. Okay, now what I recommend is, everybody has different length arms. I have really long arms. We are going to be putting a cuff on, so just remember that, but you can try on your cardigan at when you get to 16 inches and see if you like it. And the cuff is going to be a couple of inches on the end of that sleeve. Okay, we're also going to be decreasing as well, so we're going to do a little bit of a decrease, and yeah, so just measure it when you get to the end, and I will see you when you've got your sleeve length down to around 16 inches or whatever you prefer, because then after that we're going to change to a J hook and do our decrease so that we can have a nice tight gathered cuff around our wrist. Okay, so I'll see you back at the end of your sleeve. Okay folks, so here we are. I've done both my sleeves here, and I'm going to measure them, and they're 16 inches exactly. Now I counted the rows to make sure that there's the same amount of rows in each stitch, and if you want to make them, I tried it on and it seems good, and I'm going to start doing my decreases for my cuffs. So try on your cardigan and see if the length is good for you. Remember, you're going to be putting a cuff on the end, but if you want it to have a bit of a the pouch over your cuff and be a bit longer with it, sort of the cuff bringing it in, you can make it a bit longer or you can make it shorter. But remember, you have to do the same to both sleeves so they match. Okay, so we're going to move on to the next step, putting on the cuff. The other thing that can happen is you can lose some stitches as you're working down your sleeve. Don't worry about it, because we are gathering everything into the cuff and it should all work out. But it's nice if you can have both sleeves ending with the same amount of rows, and you can do that by just decreasing or increasing as you need to. But if you've been counting all the way down, well then you don't have anything to worry about. So now what I'm doing is I'm having to add this in because I cut it off because I was doing some filming to update my tutorial thing. So what we're going to do now is we've changed to a J hook. So here we are, we get our J hook and chain 1, and then we are going to do single crocheting 2 together. Okay, so we go into one, into another one, and chain them together. Put your hook in, yarn over, put the hook in, yarn over. You've got 4, and then we're going to pull them together. Okay, Okay, so here we are, and we're going to start doing single crochet 2 together. All right, so you put your hook into the first stitch, yarn over and pull it up. I'm sorry I had to attach my yarn here because I cut it off to make a video for YouTube, for Instagram. And into the next one, and pull it through, and you've got 3 loops, pull it through. So I'll show you again. Single crochet 2 together, you go into the next stitch, the first stitch you come to, yarn over and pull it through. Then you go into the next stitch, yarn over and pull it through. You've got 3 on there, yarn over and pull it through, all 3. And here's one more close up for you. Into the stitch, yarn over and pull it up. Got 2 loops. Into the next stitch, yarn over, pull it up, yarn over and pull it through 3. And we're going to go all the way around, single crocheting 2 together like that. All the way around to the end. And here I am at my last 2 single crochets. You can just see them there. Into one, yarn over, pull it up, into the next one, yarn over, pull it up, yarn, and do all 3. And then we're going to join to the top of the first one with a slip stitch. Okay, now at this point you have to count your stitches and make sure that you have an even number. If you don't have an even number, you have to go back and make sure that you do have an even number. That means do one less decrease to make it right, because we need an even number for doing our ribbed cuff. Okay, so for instance, I counted mine and I have 19, so I'm going to pull back and instead of doing making these single crocheting them together, I'm going to do it like this, just a single crochet into each of the last 2 so that I end up having 20 instead of 19. I hope that makes sense. If anybody has any questions, don't hesitate to contact me, okay? So what we're going to do now is we're going to change to the contrasting color, which is my yellow. So I'm going to cut this yarn off. I'm going to leave quite a long piece for weaving in and that, and I'm going to change over to my yellow. So I'm going to add that in. So I'm going to make a slip stitch to add in my yellow with a J hook. I'm on the smaller hook, okay? So make sure you're using the J hook and you've got your nice contrasting color to add in to make your cuff. I need to pull this nice and tight from my pink, and I'm going to chain 2. Chain 2. Pull that pink tight. That's right. Okay, so I've chained 2, and now what we're going to do is double crochet into the first stitch and every stitch around and join it to the top of the chain 2 with a slip stitch, okay? Because this is going to set us up for doing our ribbing, okay? So we're going to go double crochet into each stitch around. Yarn over in, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Double crochet into each of those places that we single crocheted 2 together. And I'll meet you around at the end. So I've just finished my 20. That's what I have. Not everybody will have the same. Really, when it gets to this point, you can make it work however many stitches you had on your sleeve when you got down to the cuff level. Okay, so we've done that initial row of double crochet, and now we're going to start with our front post double crochet, back post double crochet ribbing. Okay, so we chain 2, and then we're going to start. We go yarn over. We're not going to go into this, which is our chain 2, where we're always going up. It's our turning chain, but we're not turning, but it's what we're starting, right? So we're going to yarn over, and we're going to go right underneath behind the first double crochet from the row below and do a double crochet. I'm holding it up so you can see it better. Then the yarn over, and now the second one here, we are going to go in front of it. So we go, let's get rid of that little piece of yarn at the back. It's tricking us. Okay, we're going to go up from the back, over the front of the double crochet and down the back, and put a yarn over and pull it up, and then finish our double crochet. Then for the next one, we're going to go in behind it. So yarn over, go in from the front, under the double crochet and up out the other side of the window, yarn over and pull it through, and finish your double crochet. I do have the Fisherman's Beanie also explains this too. So anyway, yarn over, go in from the back and down. So this is the back post double crochet. And what you'll see is I've got these little pieces of yarn. I should have cut them off. So I just went and got rid of that little piece of pink that was popping its head in here. And so what you can see here is that you've got this one standing up to the front, and this one is down behind. This one is standing up to the front. This one is falling to the back. This one is standing up to the front. This one is falling up to the back. So you're having to alternate all the way around, because you're really going to see this start to look like ribbing when we get to the next few rows. Okay, so that was the back post. We're going to yarn over. We're going to do one more front post. We go in from the front, our hook's at the back, and we go behind that double crochet post. Put the yarn over your needle and pull it up. Then yarn over your needle and pull it through two. Yarn over and pull it through two. And then for a back post, we are going to go in from the back, over top of that post and out the back, and pull it through, pull it through, pull it through. That's a back post. So go all the way around till we get to the end and join it with a slip stitch to the top of our chain 2. So I've just done my final back post double crochet, and I'm going to slip stitch here into the top of this front post double crochet. To be honest with you, that's what we're going to do there. And we're going to chain 2. Now what you're going to see is we have the previous front post double crochet, and we need to actually go into the turning chain and through the front post double crochet for our very first one so that it works out properly. We always have that weird chain 2, okay? Now we're going to go into this one and do a back post double crochet, and then into the next one. That pink wants to be here. Into the front, you see that's the double crochet front, that's the front post double crochet from the previous row. So we're going to yarn over and go underneath, in from the front, up the back, and that's going to be another front post double crochet. So if you're wondering which one you're going to go, so you can see how this is going to the back. This is a back post. So yarn over, go up, you can see where that double crochet, back post double crochet is there. We're going to go, that's from the previous row, so we're going to do it like that. And now we're going to go over, and here's where our front post double crochets are, because they come out the front. We're going to find the top one. Use your fingers, it's right there. Go underneath it, yarn over, and complete your double crochet. Now the next back posts kind of disappear out of sight. But if you pull it open like that, you can find it. And there it is. You go in from behind, put that behind you, and that's a back post double crochet. And what you can see as you progress with these, I'm going to pull my yarn, is you're really starting to see, yellow's probably not the best color, but you can see this back, front, and it's starting to look like real ribbing. Okay, so go all the way around and I'll meet you at the end. So here we are at the end, and we have just done a front post, so I'm now going to do the final back post into that back post double crochet from the previous row. Then we're going to be here, and we're going to join with a slip stitch. We're going to chain 2. Now when you look at your cuff, you'll see front, back, okay? And then you'll see this is the front, this is the back, and we have our chain 2 that we have to do at the beginning of every row there. So what we do is incorporate that chain 2 in with the front post. So we actually go under the previous chain 2 as well as the front post to make it nice and neat, and we don't end up increasing every row that we go. You see, here we are left with a chain 2 and our front post double crochet stitch. So we're going to be putting those together at the beginning of the next round. Okay, so now we're going to go into the back and carry on front post double crochet, back post double crochet all the way around. Now this is row 3 and you can count it by 1, 2, 3. Okay, we are going to be doing 8 rounds of front post double crochet, back post double crochet. So I'll see you at the end when you've done 8 rounds. Okay, okay, so here I am having done 8 of these front post double crochet, alternating with the back post double crochet. And to see if you've got 8, you can see these little lines going across here, and that's a row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then that's my 8th one. So I'm at the end of my 8th row. I've just done a front post. I'm now going to do a back post, yarn over, go in from the back, over the top, and out, pull the yarn through, and double crochet. And I'm going to slip stitch into the top, pull it through, and cut that off, and pull the yarn through, and that is the cuff done. And then you have to work on your second cuff in exactly the same manner. Okay, decreasing with the color of your sleeve, doing those 2 single crochets together, and then starting with your contrasting color and the double crochet row to set yourself up for your ribbing. Okay, I'll see you when you've done the second. Here we are, we've got 2 cuffs both done, and they look really nice, and we're going to go on to our ribbing trim. So I've got my fronts here, and what you're going to do is you're going to go on the bottom corner and you're going to add in the yellow or whatever color you're choosing to do. So I found the yellow, I couldn't find the end, and I'm going to make a slip stitch. Okay, slip knot, I'm so sorry. It's early in the morning. I want to get this done. I want to get this ready for you guys. Okay, so I'm going to chain 1 up, and then I'm going to single crochet up each of the stitches up the ribbing. So I'm going into each, I'm going through both. See there's your stitch. All the way up the ribbing. And then when we get to the colored part, that's where we're going to find all our double crochet rows. And we're going to make 2 single crochets. This is the single crochet, the last one. Let's go into the last one there. And then we're going to start on the colored, and these are all double crochet rows. Okay, and we're going to make 2 single crochets into each double crochet row. Okay, and how you choose to do that is up to you. I tend to go into the bottom loop and the top one into that one and 1 into the other loop, all the way up and over the top of the neck and down the other side. Okay, and I'll see you back at the other side. Hi there. Actually, I thought I would help you through the neck part, because where the fronts meet, there were 2 or 3 stitches in between the front panels, right? So when you get up here, you're, as I said, you're doing 2 stitches into the end of each of those double crochet rows. We're going to get to the top here, and it's just going to be regular stitches. So you're just going to put one single crochet into each of the stitches across the top of the neck, the back of the neck. This is the back of the neck, right? Oops, sorry. In there. And then you're going to start going down the other side panel, and once again you're going to be making 2 single crochets into each of the double crochets. So there's the one where we sewed it in, and here's the second one for that first. And then once again we just make 2 into each end of the double crochet row. So here we are at the end of the ribbed trim at the bottom of your sweater. So I'm just doing a single crochet into the last one, and then we're going to chain 2 and turn, and we're going to double crochet into the first of the single crochet stitches that you did, and double crochet, sorry, so yarn over, and we are going to make a double crochet into each of these single crochets all the way around to the end. And then we're going to start doing the same kind of front post double crochet, back post double crochet ribbing that we did for the cuff. Okay, but we have to do the double crochet row first. Okay, so off you go and double crochet into each of your single crochets up the one side, over the back of the neck, and down the other side. Okay, see you later. So I've just done my last double crochet into the edge of the ribbing on the other side. So I've now got double crochets running around the entire front edges of the cardigan, up and over the back of the neck and down the other side. So we're going to chain 2 and we're going to turn. Make sure that you've got an even number, okay? If you haven't got an even number, then you need to double crochet 2 together or make an extra double crochet in there. We want it to be even because we're going to be doing this ribbing, the front post double crochet alternating with a back post double crochet. Okay, so we've chained 2, yarn over, and I'm just going to start it here in the second one. And then go into the back. Backward double crochet. I'll do this one, the front one, show you again, yarn over, we're doing it with a J hook, remember, in from the front and up, pulling it so that the front of the post is on your hook, yarn over and pull it right through, yarn over, pull it through 2, yarn over, pull it through 2. So now we're going to do a back one, so you make sure that your yarn's over your hook, you go in through the back, down, and pull it through, pull it through, then pull it through 2, pull it through 2. We're going to go all the way around. So here we are. I've just finished the first row of the front post double crochet, back post double crochet. I've just ended on a back post double crochet here, and I'm just going to double crochet into that last stitch there and chain 2. And then I'm going to turn the work. These sweaters get heavy towards the end. And so now what you're going to see here is that that's the back post double crochet that we did here. Front, back, front. And now I've just done this. So we're turning it over, and I'm going to do a front post right into this one, the turning chain. And then I'm going to do my back post there. So yes, I've done the front post over the turning chain, the back post double crochet, and now we're going to do another front post double crochet and the back. And this is going to be our last row. If you want to do a wider trim, you can. But I'm just going to do this back post and I'll show you what it's going to look like. That's kind of the thickness of the trim. It's going to be another. So I'm going to finish this round. This is what I do. If you want to do more rows of front post double crochet, back post double crochet, that's up to you. But I'll meet you at the end of this one because this is the last row of the cardigan. So here we are at the last. I just done a front post double crochet this, and then because we're at the very end, I'm just going to double crochet into that last one like we did on the last bit, and cut the thread, the yarn, oops, and pull it through. Okay, now what we do is that's all I normally do for the ribbing, but you can make it fatter. As I say, I've done 2 rows of the ribbing, and we now have our completed cardigan. So I'm really excited. about this. Okay. Oh, look at this. Here we go. This is a sweater. This is a Colour Block Cardigan. Please subscribe to my channel if you like my tutorials. Hit the bell if you want to get notifications. And I hope you enjoy making the Colour Block Cardigan. Happy crocheting, all my beautiful friends. Thank you.